So the last session we had for the Asahi group was so long ago, I've kind of forgotten what we did. I know we did Dojini, so we'll have a refresher of Dojini this evening. Annika, have you done Dojini before? You have. Has everybody else done Dojini? Oh, go on, Annika.
So long ago.
Oh, was that in the Tasogele group, in the senior group? Then?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. We'll have a go at it. I mean, there's nobody here who are beginners, so maybe we'll have a quick run through of that, and then we'll see how time goes. Maybe we'll do something fun. Okay.
It's a trap.
No, honestly, I'd like it to be fun. It's a nice day. It's too nice a day to be doing anything else but fun. Before we start, so before we do anything kind of structured, let's just remind ourselves some stuff. So if you want somebody to, let's see, make something, let's say, please make dinner. So David, would you like to go first? How do you say, please make dinner?
I'm trying to remember what dinner it is. Is it just gohan?
So evening dinner is bangohan.
Bangohan or tsukute kudasai.
Yeah, so tsukute kudasai. So here we're just using the verb. That is Martin. Verb te kudasai to form this. Pretty easy. Cool. And then how would you say? Hi, Martin. Hey. Were you clearing up bear poo today? Is that?
Yeah, you've got a lovely image of the bear trying to eat the camera.
I can imagine you walking through the forest with a spade and a brush, clearing it up as you go along.
Yeah, I'm sending Judy up there with some bacon later on too.
Oh, here's Aga. Where were we? Sorry, guys, just going to reform the window. Hey, Aga. And then to say, please don't do something. For example, please don't touch my moustache. For example, Joel.
I forgot moustache.
We can just use hige for now. This means beard or facial hair.
Hige or to touch. To touch would be.
So we've got a choice really. We can use sawaru,
Okay.
or fureru, but I think in this case sawaru is probably best.
Hige or sawanaide kudasai.
So this is group one.
Sawanaide kudasai.
Yeah, exactly. It's group one. Sawanaide kudasai. So this is using the verb in the nai form, the plain negative form, and then we have asai to do this. So also
we're asking for do itashimashite, but
exactly, yeah, exactly. Yes, this is exactly it. Do itashimashite. Brilliant mnemonic for don't touch my the other way around. Don't touch my moustache is a brilliant mnemonic for do itashimashite. Don't touch my moustache. Exactly. Okay, and then if we want to say, I want you to do something, I want you to do something. So, for example, I would like you to wash the dishes, for example. Now, of course, we can say, we can make the te form and say kudasai, but this is more like saying, this is now expressing your preference. I want you to do something. Annika, remember how to do this?
Osara.
Mm-hmm. Sara.
It's kitchen.
Sorry, yeah, I've got quite a lot of yeah, natural background noise here.
Not sure if I would also do the te kudasai.
Okay, so we can do osara o, and then what's to wash? Do you remember this?
Arate.
Arate. This is good. So we start with the te form, and then we say hoshii desu. This means it is desirable. I want you. I want hoshii. we use it to say I want, but actually it's an e adjective. So this actually means that thing is desirable. Hoshides.
What about using hogai? Or
So
would that
this,
more be like a threat towards?
yeah, exactly. This
When
is
to
saying
do this.
you. Yeah, this is kind of advisory. It's like saying you should, yeah, or I'll kill you. I mean, you can use hogai or you must, nakareba narimasen. But yeah, we'll come to those actually. Before we do that though, let's see how we would say I don't want you to I don't know, meet that boy. So Jonathan, how would you do this?
その男の子、
この子。Yep.
が
So to meet, usually our particle for meeting, we can either use to
Oh,
with or ni.
とや。
Yeah. と。
その人の子と会わなくて方がいい。会わなくて。
So this is the trap actually. It's a little bit of a trap. So you might be tempted to try and invert the verb, but here as well.
Oh,
you
want
do
to.
atte. Yeah, and then?
No, I was going to want to do the Thai, like I
this means I don't want to meet. But if you say I don't want you to meet,
oh yeah, that was another.
We can invert this instead. We can make this negative. Hoshides can become.
Hoshidewanai.
It's an e adjective, so this would be.
Oh, hoshikunai.
Hoshikunaides, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Hoshikunaides. Yeah. Now, what you started to go down, I don't think you can actually do it. But, well, I think you were also thinking of noko to awanakute hoshides, but this doesn't really work. This kind of, yeah, you'd think it would because you're sort of negating the verb and then saying I want. But this means I want you to not meet that boy, which isn't exactly the kind of same way of saying it. So yeah. we would just invert this preference at the end. This is not desirable. It's not desirable for me for you to meet that boy. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's carry on with ones you said actually. So Martin, how would you say it would be better if you let's see, played the piano in the bath? Because this is something that I'm often saying to people.
A wonderful everyday phrase.
Exactly, yes, yeah.
Oh,
it's better than making toast in the bath with an electric toaster, I suppose, isn't it?
bath is furu, isn't it?
Or furo, yeah. Furo.
Okay. Looking up the verbs to play a sobu.
Oh, so for piano, this is a stringed instrument, apparently, in the category of instruments. And this is, for stringed instruments, we use the word hiku to play, to pull, to pluck.
Oh, hiku.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm struggling with the in the bit, believe it or not.
So, ofuro, I mean, if you said at the bath, like ofuro de, this would get you by. But I think what you really want to say is inside the bath. So how would you say this? Can anybody help?
Naka?
Yeah, no, naka de.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, naka de.
What about haru?
One more time?
Like haru toki or
so
haru by.
Yeah, exactly. You could say ofuro, ofuro ni haita toki or haitara. Yeah, you could use all these conditions as well, for sure.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
And then to play the piano, oh, hiku, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Piano.
No.
Ga hiku.
So this is something you do to the piano. So this would be piano.
Oh.
Yeah. Now this bit, it will be better, or it will be best if you play. So this is giving advice.
Okay. So I can't use hite then.
This means I want you to, but I want you to, instead of saying I want you to, I want you just to say it would be better if you did this, if you had done this.
Hite nakareba naremasen.
Okay, so this is you must. This is hika nakereba, nakereba, narimasen. So this is the imperative.
Yeah.
Imperative. Right? So I will save that for a bit, just in a second. Let's put that down here a second. But there's a way of saying it will be best if. Do you remember we did this with comparators like Hodor is bigger than.
It's the Hoga Ides or something.
Yes,
Isn't it?
exactly. So we can leave this in the plain tense. This still works, but it's more usual and a little bit softer to turn hiku into the past tense, past plain tense.
Oh, not hikata.
No,
Hika.
it's hita, hita. So the ku at the end, as it's a group one verb, becomes
Ide.
hita.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So think about the te form, and then you can maybe think of to write. So kaku would be kaite, wouldn't it?
Okay. And I'll
And
finish it with Hoga Ides.
Yes, good. Hita hoga ides. Yeah, good. Exactly. And then we'll leave this here for a second. Then how would you say, Aga, how would you say it would be best if you didn't make toast in the bath? Sorry, I'm going to ask Aga to do this. Yeah.
Toast or
Toast. Oh,
そこがない
yeah, good.
がない。
Good. You're nearly there. You're nearly home.
Hogaides.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Hoga ides. So let's just quickly look at these two to do. It would be best if you did, and it would be best if you didn't. So both of these are expressed with either ta hoga ides for affirmative. This is, sorry, a second. This is the affirmative. And then for the negative, to don't do it, then we just do the, as you did, Aga, nai hoga ides. So this is slightly inconsistent because we're using the past tense for one and the plain negative for the other. So the tenses are different as well as the polarity, as for it being affirmative or negative. But we just need to kind of get used to this idea of saying it'd be best if you had done this, and it would be best if you don't do this. So thinking about this in the English language anyway, you can say it would be best if you had played piano. If you had played piano in the bath, you can also use this for future tense as well. Okay, and then let's do the imperative. So we've got ofuro de, ofuro no naka de, piano o hikanakereba narimasen. You must play piano in the bath. And David, how about you mustn't eat cats with your toast. Say this.
Sorry, my cat's just staring at the screen here like, what?
Did he say cats and toast?
Toast or to.
Toast. Toast. To.
Neko or. you don't. Must not.
So this
I-
time we could use this kind of form is an option, but there's actually a different way to do this. It's actually a
I
different way
keep
to do
going
this.
to the plain version of Naranai, and
Yeah, yeah. You might have heard Jock do this one because he kind of comes out of it quite easily. Okay, let me help. We do
I also
the.
have a very easy solution.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just use dame.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what we're going to finish with. We're absolutely are going to finish with Damides, but it's how to form this bit here.
I
I
guess
mean-
making it into, and that's the hint that I'm gonna give, make it into a noun.
Yeah.
not there.
Go ahead, David.
Not there.
No, this would mean as, but I think what you're saying, Jonathan, is tabaru no ga, tabaru no ga damides. So this is a nominalization of this, isn't it? But
Yes.
this actually means literally a little bit more like the eating of cats and toast. Cats and toast is verboten, is bad. But I actually want to make this a little bit more direct to say no, you must not eat. Okay, let me help.
Kinsoku.
Well, this also means ist verboten.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tosto neko o tabete wa dame desu. So you can see here again, we've got something inconsistent between the affirmative imperative and the negative. So this is using, here we use verb nakereba, it's a verb in the negative form. Nakereba narimasen. This is the affirmative, must do something. And the negative is verb in the te form, wa dame desu. Now, you could use the same structure as we use with the affirmative, with this one here, and say tosto neko o tabe, and then do the ba conditional, David. You're muted on Zoom.
Tabe nakereba.
Oh no, in the affirmative.
Oh, just tabekereba.
Tabereba.
Tabereba.
And then say dame desu.
Yes.
So this, you could do this way. This does kind of grammatically form the imperative, but this kind of means hypothetically, if you eat cats with toast, then it is bad. But this one here, tabete wa dame desu, this is much more like a direct command. You must not do this. So this is our form for making the negative imperative. Okay. Sorry, just give me a second, guys. Okay, any questions so far? All we're doing is a bit of revision here, guys. So all this stuff should be reasonably familiar to you. So here we've got, these are all requests. These are what's called preferences. You to do X, or verb rather. This is the advice. These are the imperatives. Let me say spell it. Okay, any questions, guys? Cool. Okay, let's do another bit of a refresher. Now, I don't think we've done this in the class. Let's just save this a second. I think we've done this in the class, but are we clear? Let's look at the plain form of verbs. Oops. So we'll start off with iku, which is our standard go-to group one. Group one, we'll do iku, to go. So our present affirmative is going to be iku, of course. And what about our present negative, Joel?
Negative. Can I?
Yeah, that's good. Ikanai. So this is slightly more complex for group one verbs, but shouldn't cause us too many problems if we have done the naide kudasai thing. And then the past affirmative is Annika.
Ita.
Ita. Good. Exactly. And then the past negative, Jonathan.
Ikanakatta.
Yes, exactly. Ikanakatta. So again, this is kind of inconsistent with the transformation of previously, but what we're doing here is we're treating ikanai like an e adjective. It's got, like you can see, it's got an e at the end, and turning that e adjective into the past tense. So we're treating it like a past tense of an e adjective. Oops, e adjective. Of course, it's not really a past tense, but grammatically it behaves like one. What about group two? Let's use easy ones. Taberu, to eat. So Martin, obviously taberu, present. Let me just copy this out actually.
Sorry.
Obviously,
Yeah.
taberu is taberu. Yep. The present negative.
Present negative is going to be tabanai.
Tabenai, good. And aga, the past affirmative, past positive.
Tabekatta.
One more time.
No.
No. Nie, nie, nie.
Tabeta.
Tabeta. Tak. And then David, the past negative. Right. I didn't hear it, but I can lip read.
So,
That was
tabenakatta.
yes, tabenakatta. So this looks very much like here. This looks very much like the group one. Okay, but easier to form. And then group three, we've got suru, to do. So again, obviously the second. This is going to be suru. And then Joel, the present negative.
Shinai.
Shinai. Annika, the past affirmative.
Shita.
Shita, yes, exactly. Just one T. Good. And Jonathan, the past negative.
Shinakatta.
Yes, shinakatta. Shinakatta. Yeah. Right, and we should also do the kuru as well, because this doesn't behave the same way. To come. So, just get rid of that. So this is going to be a kuru. And then Martin, the present negative.
Hold on a sec, I'm temporarily confused.
Okay. Sorry, are you having a delay on your internet?
Past negative konai.
Kunai, yes, good. Good. And I got the past affirmative of kuru.
Kita.
Kita, yes, just with one T again. And David, the past negative.
kinakata or konakata. I don't know which.
Go to this. Go to this. This is basically you always take the
Konakata.
negative first and then turn it into the past. Yeah, konakata. Konakata. Good, excellent. Any problems, guys? Everybody okay? Cool, good. What's the other thing I wanted to do? Teform, Nihongo. Should be it, I think. Yeah, that'll do. Right, let's go to this week's lesson, actually. Okay. So we've done Nagara, haven't we? So this was basically being used when the subjects are the same. There's a bit of regulation about Nagara, but this basically means multitasking, which you can only do if you're doing both tasks. So it's not multitasking if while my father is driving, I was hanging out the window. That's not multitasking. That's two people doing two different things at the same time. So Nagara is only for multitasking when you are doing two things at the same time. So, and the other thing is that both actions should be volitional. So if you're doing something passively, like sleeping or being somewhere, then this isn't actually a volitional verb. So you can't really use inagara or nenagara using sleeping or being, for example. So I used to say, while doing A, I was doing B, but this has kind of got regulations in it. As you remember, there needs to be a kind of significant duration as well when we're using nagara. But what about if we just want to say at the same time as? So we don't want to be subjected to these regulations. We can use this dojini instead. So the subjects of A verb and B verb don't have to be the same. There is a strong suggestion of simultaneity, but you can also use this to say that as soon as X happened, Y happens. There might be just a moment of X happening first, and this triggers the second verb. This is also fine, but they need to be very closely connected in time. In this case, significant duration is not important. In fact, both verbs should be kind of instantaneous. Now, of course, everything takes a certain amount of time, and in comparison to, for example, a hummingbird, me snapping my fingers probably feels like a few minutes. But there are some things which clearly are taking a duration: reading a book, making a cake, torturing a lower grade in the Ido. These all need to take time. But things which are kind of transitional, like sitting down or walking into a house, these all are, we could say, well, it took me an hour to walk into the house. Well, that didn't really happen. There's a moment when you're not in the house, and there's a moment where you are in the house. So this transition you can consider to be instantaneous. However, the usage is when the timing of two things coincide. I think I've already said that already. So the construction of doing this is verb has to be in the plain, the casual, and then either present tense or negative. This cannot be in the past tense. It has to be either the plain present or the plain negative, and then todoji ni, and then the second verb.
Was the to always there?
So one more time, Jonathan.
The to, I can't remember it.
When we did
Or
this
is it
last
situational?
time, no, when we did this last time, I might have explained this as just dojini, and then shortly after that, I realised that
Okay.
one way round is to mean contrary to expectations, and the other way around was just like this at the same time. And I somehow got confused and explained this as the wrong way around. So I've now fixed this. This is now correct. So todojini means at the same time as, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We will come to it without it in a second, actually. If we have a noun, for example, some nouns are kind of events like birthdays, funerals, explosions, departure of an aircraft. These can all be explained as nouns rather than verbs, even though they are things which are happening. We can either leave this as the noun plus todoji ni, or we can add de aru. But it's not important to add de aru. But I would advise writing this down because you might read it and then think, why is there de aru there? So this is optional. Okay, so far, guys. Cool. Now adjectives. We do need de aru in this case, and then todoji ni. Go ahead, Annika.
So the de aru with the nouns, does it mean like the existence of the book, for example? Or...
No. So this noun, although I've written nouns there, this really means events. So, for example, Tanjoubi todoji ni sekai ga owarimashita. The world ended on the same day as my birthday. So it's a noun. Basically, it's a noun describing an event like a birthday, a festival, art exhibition, something like this. These things are basically nouns, but they're all basically, as this is a timing reference, then they're basically going to be events. You can't really say hon todoji ni, like book, at the same time as book. I also ate a donut. Doesn't make any sense.
It just mean the exact the de aru, what this means when I'm I'm lacking the English words. If I
Me
want
too.
to translate it
Okay. Right.
directly.
De aru just simply means des in its plain construction.
Okay, yeah.
So it means it is, but you don't really need it with nouns, to be honest. But have it as a note anyway. But it basically means des in the plain form.
Okay, this thing I was lacking. So
yeah. Okay. So des basically is a shortening of de arimasu. Yeah. And here it is again with na adjectives as well, de aru todoji ni. So it just means des, it is. I can't remember why we don't have e adjectives in this. But e adjectives would be just, let me write it in actually, otherwise I'll forget. It's probably a good reason why there isn't an e adjective. It's probably because it wasn't written in the book somewhere. It's e adjective plus todoji ni is the same as the verbs.
Hello. When does it make sense to use an e adjective with todoji ni? Because if it's something that is quite short.
Yeah, it's hot at the same time. It's also quite comfortable. It only gets used really in this next section, which is to suggest when something converse is happening. So at the same time as it being hot, it's also sort of, for example, hang on a second. At the same time, English food is both disgusting and at the same time quite interesting. Yeah, it's this kind of thing. But it really only occurs, I think, in for both na adjectives and the e adjectives. It only occurs in this situation where something is happening against expectations. So, and this is where we don't use to, Jonathan, when you said, where does to come from? This was the wrong way around. I taught it before. If you omit to, if you leave it off, it suggests that something is happening against expectations. So a strong, while strangely fragile person. So we would say, if she's strong, but also easily broken, then we'd use doji ni in this case.
English is exciting and painful.
So one more time, Martin?
English football is exciting and painful.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Okay, let's look at some examples. Okay, at the moment I arrived at school, it started raining. So, David, do you want to have a try at this one?
Okay. Arrived at school. Arrive was suku, isn't it?
Suku, yeah, exactly.
Gakko ni suku to doji ni ame ga
Furu is
furi
ha. To begin.
Furi hajimarimashita.
Very good. Yes, furi hajimarimashita. Excellent. Ame ga furi hajimarimashita. Yes. Perfect. And then, Joel, what does this mean? Migi ashi o fumikommu to doji ni migi katate de shomi no teki no migi wakibara kara gyaku kesse ni kiriageru. I love Japanese, but I don't use commas or full stops. Ooh.
At the same time as advancing your right foot.
Yep.
Cut your opponent, your front opponent.
Good.
With a one-handed cut from the wakibara to the kesa line.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. Well done. Yeah, exactly. Jonathan, if you want, I can start preparing some kendo examples, as all of the technical examples always the
I also do Iaido. I know that.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay. Cool.
Go home, Kasagiri.
Oh, okay, cool. And Martin.
Thank you.
You're the only person who would actually understand. Oh, David would probably understand it as well. But this is an age-related thing as well as a. Almost certainly, you won't get this from the translation.
Hairu, the moment you walked in the bar.
Good, yeah. And then anata ga, this means you. Takuetsu shite otoko.
Something about otoko da ari is important person.
This is a man of distinction.
Man of distinction.
Yeah.
And there's got to be a real big spender, hasn't it?
You've got it, exactly. Exactly this. See, I told you nobody else will understand. This is the song, guys. The minute you walked in the joint, I could tell you were a man of distinction, a real big spender. Yeah. See, I knew you wouldn't get it, Annika. You're just too young. Okay.
I feel old.
Okay, any questions, guys?
I'm also glad that I'm too young.
Hey, let's not start making negative comments about music, huh?
Oh, I love music from the Stone Age.
Right, you're all expelled. Let's do some other examples then. Right. We lost somebody. Did you go, Martin? He's disappeared. Could be Canada's been destroyed in a massive volcano. Okay, let's see. Annika. The moment the earthquake occurred, the car exploded.
Earthquake was something with J, but
Yeah.
um,
I'm helping. I've written down J.
thanks.
You can help.
Jikyo.
G.
Jishin.
Jishin. Exactly. Jishin.
Jishin. Jishin ga.
Hey, Kelly. Come on.
Hajimeru.
So for occurred,
Yeah.
there's a few verbs you can use. Okuru. Is that the right word? I always get this one. Okiru. Okiru and okoru is right. Okay. Okoru desho, isn't it, David? Okoru.
Okoru, yeah.
Yeah. So both of these are fine. Okiru
Okay.
and okoru.
Jishin ga okiru to doji ni.
Yep. Good.
Kuruma.
Yeah.
Ga.
Good.
Boom.
Boom shimashita. Yeah, you would be understood, I'm sure.
Okay.
So explosion, explode. This one. Who can help?
Bakuhatsu.
Bakuhatsu. This is a suru verb as well, isn't it? Bakuhatsu. This is a suru verb.
So, bakuhachimasu. Bakuhachimashita.
It's a suru verb. It's a suru verb. So it's just
Okay.
bakuhatsu.
Shimashita.
Yes, exactly. I do admire your inclination to try and turn bakuhatsu into a verb, though. Bakuhachimashita. You'd probably be understood, actually. Okay, good.
Is this
You
one of
say
the
it
cases
fast
where-
enough. It just sounds like it. Bakahachimashita.
Yeah.
Could we omit the okiru verb here and just do jishin ga todoji ni?
Yes, because jishin is an event as well as well, it's a noun, isn't it? So we could exactly do jishin todoji ni. Todoji ni. Yeah, exactly. Oh, good. Jonathan, how about this one? Bearing in mind this is a contrary to expectations example.
Oh, my stomach was aching. I still wanted to eat something. What, this is with dojini?
It is, but without the to, because this is the contrary to expectations.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Onaka ga itaku to, itai to.
So we don't need to, just itai, and then this doji ni section.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Onaka ga itai doji ni,
Yeah.
nanka tabitai.
Anika. So this is in the past tense, though.
Oh, tabetakata.
Yes, good. Tabetakata. Yes. Anika, those are.
And then I do have a question, because before in the previous slide, you showed the example of when to use to doji ni for the e adjectives to use to, and then you continued explaining that that's only a situation like this, or at least that you would only use e adjectives in a situation like this where they're kind of opposite of each other. So is it then that actually you wouldn't use e adjectives with to doji ni?
Yeah, I don't know really.
Or is it like a very, very obscure case where it's not an opposite, but the second part of dojini is like just a verb or something?
I mean, usually if we've got two, like for example, two adjectives happening at the same time, we'd usually just use the kute with the e adjective, wouldn't we? So it'd be like atsukute, kimochi desu, it's hot and it's comfortable. I can't think of a situation or a sentence where we would use it in the affirmative, really. So I guess, yeah, in that slide there isn't really an atsui to dojini. It would have to be just atsui dojini. Yeah, yeah, good question. Annika?
I was just wondering the same with the to where
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. I don't think we'd actually make that sentence. Actually, maybe that's why I omitted it. But then I'm not sure why you could even use it with the na adjective, really. Because again, if you wanted to say it's both convenient and important, then you'd say benri de taisetsu desu. You just join them with the normal adjective joiner. It's when you want to say it's both convenient but also inconvenient, and that's using the converse, contrary to expectations format. So yeah, I don't think we would use todojini with either e adjectives nor na adjectives. I could be wrong. Maybe we'll find one. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I can imagine is like if I look at previous examples, like the moment it was blue, the car exploded.
Yeah.
And you could use an adjective, but I don't know, it's hard to come up with like proper examples.
Yeah, because that would be, of course, having an e adjective and a verb in the same sentence. But if you were saying, yeah, that sort of example where it's not contrary, it's basically almost like a supporting thing. Again, like it's hot and I want to go outside, then this would just be atsukute or atsuinde, atsuinode dekaketai desu. We wouldn't bother with any kind of dojini, really, would we? Yeah. Well, let's see. Aga, I will be able to see the chair the moment you switch the light on. So was that you answering or the cat?
That's the cat. Sorry.
It's okay.
Itsu?
We can just
How
use
is it
doji.
chair?
We can just use isu. Sorry, isu.
Isu.
Yeah, isu.
イスが見られる
Mhm.
と同時に
Yeah,
電気を
yeah.
つけます。
Skimas. Okay, so the words are correct, but they're just in the wrong positioning. So this is saying, I will switch the light on the moment you can see the chair. But actually, what this isn't exactly an instantaneous thing. This is a sequential. This is saying basically when you turn the light on, then I'll be able to see the chair. So the denki or geru needs to happen in the beginning. This is the positioning of it. It says this happens first, and then I'll be able to see the chair. So let me just make it challenging for you and just delete the whole sentence. Try again.
電気をつけると同時に
Yep.
イスが
Yep.
見られます。
Miraremasu. Yes. Good. Miraremasu. Or we can also do miyemasu as well, can't we? Still using ga. Yeah, good. Well done. Kelly. I fell asleep the moment my head touched the pillow.
私 to fall asleep, do I also use just neru?
So to be completely technically accurate, you have to use nemuru. But in normal situations, I think you can use neru or nemuru. It doesn't really matter.
Nemuru no toki ni?
Today we're doing dojini, by the way.
Ah,
Nice try. Confuse me.
I'm so sorry, it's been a long day.
No worries. No worries.
Neru to doji ni 頭、私の頭が、ちょっと、私の頭が、Can I just say pillow for pillow?
So who remembers what the word for pillow is? Anybody?
Makura.
Makura. Good.
Makura.
Yeah,
Makura.
exactly. Makura.
Okay. Sawaru is to touch.
Sawaru? Yeah, this is good.
頭が触りました.
Okay, so again, the words are correct, but the sentence is in the wrong order. This is saying, the moment I fell asleep, my head touched the pillow. So it's like you were balanced above it, you fell asleep, bang, and then your head hit the pillow. So it's got to be the other way around.
That's correct.
Panoramic way of going to bed.
That was a very lucky positioning of a pillow, I'd say. So I'll help develop your abilities by removing that sentence so we can try again.
なんで
なんでなんでも
私の頭が枕を触りました。
So this needs to be just in the plain form.
So 触る。
Yeah, either present plain, present affirmative or present negative. There's no past tense here. Yeah.
触ると同時に
Good.
眠るました。
Nemuru, it's a group one verb, so it's nemuru becomes
眠り
Yep.
眠りました。
Exactly. Yes, good. 頭が枕を触ると同時に眠りました。Excellent. Well done. Martin, at the very moment that the head referee calls decision, all three referees must lift their flags.
Gee, thanks. Everyday Japanese, eh?
Well, actually, for us, it pretty much is.
Yeah.
This is like a good example.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll start at the end. So the referee is Shimpan.
Shimpan, yep.
Okay. Three referees is going to need a counter. So Sanin no Shimpan.
Sanin no Shimpan, good. Sanin no Shimpan. Good.
Okay. I looked up to lift just in case I got this and got Takameru.
So we'd usually use just ageru, actually. Yeah, ageru.
Okay. There's an agar nakareba naramisen.
Good. Okay. And then, do you remember the word for flag?
Not a clue.
It's like a pigeon. Anybody?
Hata.
Pigeon.
Hata. Yeah. Pigeon is hato. Don't get these too confused if you go to a taikai. Don't end up throwing a pigeon in the air. Although if it's a white one and it's the right color, then you could do this. But it's just a red one.
Squeeze hard enough, the other one will be red.
The pigeon is red. Look at the cat.
Sentence that I'm going Todoji ni san in the Shimpan Gahata or Agena Karabenaramasen.
Okay, so can you do the first part of the sentence again? I didn't hear it.
I didn't do the first part of the sentence.
Oh, okay, right. That's right. So you're doing it in reverse order, right? Okay. So we'll do something, something, something. To doji ni.
San in the
San no
Shimpan
shimpan. Yep. Good.
Hata or
Yeah.
Agena Karabenaramasen.
Agena kereba narimasen. Good.
Head judge is Shimpan something. Shimpan.
So it depends on the art, but we'll say shushin for now.
Okay. Got a call decision. Hantai.
Yep. Hante.
Okay.
Hante. And then there's actually a proper verb for this. Where's my referee's manual? In a second.
Is it not yobu?
So you could, if you use yobu, you would definitely be understood. But there's
okay.
Sen. One more time, David.
Senkokusuru.
Thank you. Senkokusuru.
I was reading the manual last night.
Senkokusuru.
Nice preparation.
Yeah.
So, and then that's it because that's in the right form.
Yeah, good. Senkokusuru doji ni shima. Yeah, good. Actually, yeah, this is good. I'm just going to add an interesting complication. So actually this rule is at the same time as each other. Exactly, yeah, we need another dojini actually. So shimpan ga, and then here we should really stick in another dojini. Shimpan ga, dojini, hato. Yeah, just to
Could
sort
you
of say.
replace it with onaji toki?
Oneji toki is the same, does actually mean completely dojini,
yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah.
I know, that's why
just so you're not repeating it. Yeah, but it would probably never see print. Oneji toki. Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do really.
Kanji are the same.
Sorry,
but the G. I think the kanji even are the same, except
exactly
that you might add a G in between
exactly.
the do and the G.
Exactly, they're exactly the same. Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to avoid saying dojini twice, then do you remember what we did recently in the advanced class to say exactly at the moment that they say it? So instead of having dojini here, do you remember, Joe?
Something like bakari or something like that.
So not exactly bakari, but
yeah,
it was shitekara. The tekara to mean right at the moment. Yeah. Or shita atoni is also fine. Yeah, both of these are fine.
Like the meaning quick succession of, right? Like
Exactly.
one happens and the other.
Exactly. The moment this is completed, the very moment it's completed, then the other three have to lift their flags. Exactly. Cool. Good. Right. David. Everyone cheered at the same time as the aircraft landed.
Aircraft landed at the same time. Chakuriku?
Yep. Chakuriku.
Yep. Okay. Hikoki ga shakuriku suru to doji ni.
Give me a second. Chakuriku to doji ni. Yep. Good.
Is this everyone or everyone except me?
Let's make it everyone except you.
Minna.
Minna.
Ga kansei shimashita.
Kansei shimashita. Well done. Good. Kansei shimashita.
I've just got my head in my hands.
Joel. The sea is cold. It still looks very tempting.
Umi ga samui doji ni.
Good. Yes, without the to.
Mirikiteki so desu.
Actually, miriteki is in itself a kind of visual impression. So
Okay.
you can just leave this as miriteki desu. Yes, good.
Miriteki desu.
Yeah.
Miriteki or mirikiteki?
Sorry, it's miriteki, sorry.
Because I was reading on the...
Yeah, my typing is just not that good. And as it's got very, let's chuck in a superlative.
Totemo?
Totemo.
Honto?
Yeah, totemo, honto ni. Yeah, good. Good. Annika, put both hands on the sword the moment your left foot steps forwards.
Hidari ashi ga fumikomu.
Good.
To doji ni.
Right.
Not sure with both. Sayute. Sayute.
Do you remember both ways, like both directions? We did this. I know we used sayu to say look both ways before crossing the road, but there was also another way to say both directions. Jonathan, can you help?
Ryoho.
Ryoho. Yeah, exactly. Ryoho. So ryo means both. So to say both hands, you'd say
Ryote.
ryote. Yeah. Ryote.
Ryote. Maybe katana de.
So it's katana ni actually, and the verb to put your hands on. Do you remember what this was? It's not hold or grip. Just to increase it. One more time.
To apply.
Tsukeru. You could, if you'd said this, you'd be understood. This sounds more like stick though, rather than put on. It's actually the word to hang. You got the right way.
Kaku.
It's kakeru.
Kakeru.
Yeah.
Kagemasu.
Yeah, good, exactly. Jonathan, the moment I took the photograph, the girl collapsed.
See if there's anything that needs to be backwards. And is this, I guess, also something that is kind of an opposite of each other, or?
No, I think this is just basically saying
okay,
these two things happen at the same time, like the explosion and the explosion, that sort of thing.
The picture is shashin.
Yeah.
And you can use toru or tsuzuku, depending on what you want.
Sorry, which verb did you use there, Jonathan?
Tsuzuku.
Tsuzuku? I don't know this one.
No, utsuru. Utsuru, sorry.
Oh, utsuru. So this is used to mean a picture which is taken rather than for you to take one.
Oh, then it's utsuku.
Utsuku.
One of the two.
Hang on.
Or something along those lines.
To make it in the transitive, you mean?
Yeah. Utsutsu. Oh, utsutsu.
Oh,
utsutsu.
Utsutsu.
So utsu. No, yeah. Like. Wait.
I've got it. Yeah. Hang on. I've got it here. Utsu.
Utsusu. No, it's not tsu in the last.
Okay. Right. Thank you. ちょっと待ってください。Utsusu.
One T too many.
Yeah.
But anyway, I use toru and it's way easier.
Yeah. Let's put this in because we always use toru. It's good to use another word. Utsusu. Good.
Utsusu to doji ni.
Good.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna say kanojo.
Yep, that's good.
Taoreta.
Good. Taoreta. Yeah. Taoremashita. Yeah. Good. Excellent. Aga, I'm studying for my maths exam at the same time as working at the zoo's cafe. This is actually a mistake. This shouldn't be in here. I put it in there because I was getting my examples wrong. You've kind of done that one already. Let's do this one here. The door closed at the same time as I stepped onto the train.
Densha ni
Good.
Noru to doji ni.
Good. Toru to doji ni. Yep.
Doa ga
good.
Shimeta.
Shimeta means somebody closed the door, but if it's the intransitive, this would be
shimarimashita.
Very good. Yeah, shimarimashita. Excellent. Well done. And Kelly, a fire occurred at the same time as an earthquake.
Okay. Is it ki or fire?
Kaji. Kaji.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kaji ga naru?
So we can use again okiru or okoru. Either of these is fine. Yeah.
火事が起こると同時に、no, earthquake.
Annika, you can help.
Jishin.
Jishin, yeah.
Something with shin. と同時に地震がCan I use the same verb as
you can actually, yeah. So again, we could use, for example, okoru. So this kind of makes this bit a bit redundant. In this case, again, we can treat fire as a noun and just do this kaji to doji ni jishin ga, and then put in okoru into the past tense.
Okorimashita.
Yeah, exactly. Okorimashita. Excellent.
So
yeah.
Because you kind of use the same verb, you can just put it all the way at the end of the sentence.
Yeah, so what we discussed earlier in today was that things like events like fires and earthquakes, birthdays, spree killings, that sort of thing, they're basically treated as nouns. So for a noun, you can, if you're really feeling pedantic, you can put de aru to doji ni, but you can just leave the noun as it is. You can just say noun to doji ni like this. So we don't actually have to say the event occurred, we just say the event. But at the end of the sentence here, where we have the second event, we should really actually use a verb to say the event occurred. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Cool. Run out of examples, guys. Everybody happy with this? It's pretty easy, isn't it? Yeah. So the only sort of things we have to remember is the first verb, if we're using verbs, needs to be in either the plain present form or the plain negative form. Todoji ni just means at the same time. If you omit the to, it means contrary to expectations. And then if we're having a sequence, so two things are linked, they happen instantaneously, but they're linked. Like, for example, turning on the light and seeing the chair, the turning on the light should happen first, and then the second thing, the second sequential thing, happens at the end of the sentence. Pretty easy, huh? Good. Right. I'm going to ask. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. Just a second. Do you guys remember these two lovely ladies? Annika, your face. Has everybody had the Sachiko and Mayumi early episodes read to them? Yeah, Martin, do you remember, have you heard these yet? I think you've frozen, haven't you, Martin? Okay, so hopefully we're already to the point where they're on their way to the beach and we can just do the second paragraph. Oh, Martin, are you there now? Have you heard the early episodes of the Tales of Sachiko and Mayumi?
Up to the point where she got in the car.
Okay, good, excellent. That's about as far as we went. Cool. Let me stop sharing for a second. And then you guys will just have to wait for me and endure my IT incompetence. So I'm going to ask, let's see. Jonathan, you've been banned from speaking female from here on. Annika, Aga, Kelly, who feels quite Genki? Okay, Kelly? Aga, not so much? No? Okay, Annika, it's you then. Okay. Let me just send this to you. Kelly and Annika. Okay, so as usual, guys, just before we do this, actually, I just want to, I think we covered this at the previous Asahi session, but it's quite important to kind of get really, which is, sorry, give me a second. How to develop our listening abilities. So it's actually more than just listening and kind of sitting back and waiting for all the skills to sink in. To actually develop keyword identification and training your listening skills, you basically have to do a number of things. So we're going to listen and watch. Guys, you can transcribe, either you can actually write it down what's being said, or you can make notes to sort of write down in your own language what's being said. Or if you understand it perfectly, then you don't need to. But at some point, you'll need to translate it, understand what's being said, listen again. And if you have problems understanding Japanese, then just take the time to try and recognize the words that you now know, the sentences that you now recognize, and link it to what you're hearing. It's that linking at the end which is really key, really of key importance to developing your listening skills. So you understand what the sentence is, you expect it being said, and then you actually hear it and go, yes, I understood what they just said. Even if you know exactly what they're going to say, it doesn't matter. Hearing it and linking it to what you know is important. Right. With all that out of the way. Sorry, Annika?
Who is who?
Oh, well, let me just have a look and see which ones you look most like. I think, Annika, I think you're probably Mayumi. And Kelly, I think you're Sachiko. I think it's Annika, I think it's because you're very black hair that you look a bit more like Mayumi. Okay, so this is 40 minutes later. They're in the car. Then after 40 minutes, Sachiko wakes up from having a little early morning snooze. Okay, go ahead, ladies.
あら、ごめんなさい。寝てしまいました。
大丈夫です。40分だけでしたよ。
今、どこにいますか？
空中栗浜の近くです。あと50分ぐらいかかります。
道路が空いていますね。よかったです。
そうですね。
次のサービス、
this is the English word station.
ステーションでコーヒーを買ってあげますよ。
いいですね。幸子ちゃんがもう朝ごはんを食べましたか？
ちょっとだけ食べました。まゆみちゃんは？
私もちょっとだけや好きに何かを食べましょう。
いいですね。お腹が空いています。
私もペコペコです。
Good. Okay. Annika, let me just give you some guidance though on pronunciation. Be really careful about Y's and J's to not mix them up in the German form, because otherwise it completely changes the meaning of the word. Yeah. Okay. So guys, who understood 100% from that? Who got less than 100% because they got confused by Annika's pronunciation of Japanese words?
I'm kidding.
That wasn't the problem.
75 to 100? Cool, good. 50 to 75? Yeah. 25 to 50? Cool, good. Nobody got 0 to 25, did they? Excellent, good. Okay, let's go a tiny bit slower, ladies. One more time, please.
あら、ごめんなさい。寝てしまいました。
大丈夫です。40分だけでしたよ。
今、どこにいますか？
九十九里浜の近くです。あと50分ぐらいかかります。
道路が空いていますね。よかったです。
そうですね。
次のサービス、セッションでコーヒーを買ってあげますよ。
いいですね。幸子ちゃんがもう朝ごはんを食べましたか？
ちょっとだけ食べました。 まゆみちゃんは
私もちょっとだけや
じゃあ。
じゃあ、次に何か
sorry, Annika, this is じゃあ、次に。
OK、じゃあ次に何かを食べましょう。
いいですね。お腹が空いています。
私もペコペコです。
Very good. Cool. Anybody less than 50% so far? Cool. I mean, there's a couple of words here which aren't grammatical or vocabulary. They're just place names. Like Kuju Kurihama is just a place name, so don't worry about identifying that.
Almost got it all written down.
Oh well, that was quick. Fantastic.
Well, yeah, like in like notes.
In scribble.
It
Yeah.
was hard to keep up.
Oh, good.
Is Peko Peko Des anything to do with pigeons?
It is. It's what they do when they're hungry.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Peko Peko is onomatopoeia for I'm hungry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get the bit in the middle about stations and coffee.
So this was service station. This is a
service station. Okay, right.
Yeah, it's a borrowed word.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I get what I was supposed to read.
Is a service station just a gas station?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but just on a motorway.
Yeah.
It's where you can get foot massages.
And the verb was shikaku des?
Chikaku.
Yeah. Chikaku.
Probably for
Chikaku.
nearby.
Right.
Yeah, where was that? Kakarimasu.
次の近く。
次のサービスステーションでコーヒーを買ってあげますよ。
It's before that. It's before. It's before.
Kuju Kurihama not chikaku desu. So this is coming from chikai. This means near to. Yeah, exactly.
Near.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
right.
exactly. Right. Let's actually put this onto the screen now, and then we can have another quick read through before we have a quick translation of it. Okay, ladies, would you do one more reading, please?
あら、ごめんなさい。寝てしまいました。
大丈夫です。40分だけでしたよ。
今、どこにいますか？
九十九里浜の近くです。あと50分ぐらいかかります。
道路が空いていますね。よかったです。
そうですね。
次のサービスステーションでコーヒーを買ってあげますよ。
いいですね。幸子ちゃんがもう朝ごはんを食べましたか？
ちょっとだけ食べました。まゆみちゃんは？
私もちょっとだけ。や、次に
何か。ですよ。じゃあ。
じゃあ。
Kind yes.
じゃあ次に何かを食べましょ
う。いいですね。お腹が空いています。
私もペコペコです。
Good, excellent. So I think we can do a really quick translation as we go through this. Guys, if there's any part of the grammar that you're not sure of why it's written this way, then just put your hand up and say, can you explain that? Because some of these things we've done, some of them we haven't. David, あら、ごめんなさい、寝てしまいました。
Sorry, I'm sorry, I fell asleep.
Good, I fell asleep. Everybody okay with this form? 寝てしまいました? Yeah, good. Okay, cool. Joel, 大丈夫です。40分だけでしたよ。
That's okay. It was only 40 minutes.
Yeah, good. 40 minutes. And Annika, 今どこにいますか?
Where are we right now?
Yeah, good. Where are we right now? And Jonathan, 9時9里浜の近くです。あと50分ぐらいかかります。
We're near to Kuchukuriyama. Another 50 minutes, or about 50 minutes. It will take about another 50 minutes.
Another 50 minutes. Good. And 道路が空いてますね。よかったです。
The road is empty.
Mm.
And that's good.
Yeah. And Kelly? そうですね. No, you can do both of those. そうですね.
I'm not sure I can do that. Yeah, right, yeah.
次のサービスステーションでコーヒーを買ってあげますよ.
So at the next gas station, we will get some coffee.
So it's kind of correct, but she's actually being a bit more specific. 買ってあげますよ.
We will get some coffee.
No, let's just repeat what we just said. 今日は長いでしょ? So 買ってあげます. This is kind of doing something for somebody else, isn't it? Giving
To give a gift, yes.
I will get us some coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Get us some coffee. Good. And Martin, いいですね。幸子ちゃんがもう朝ごはんを食べましたか?
That's good. Sachiko-san, did you eat breakfast?
Did you eat breakfast? Yeah. Yeah, this more here. This means already.
Already, okay, right.
Yeah. And then David, ちょっとだけ食べました。まゆみちゃんは?
ちょっとだけ。I'm a little lost on dake.
Only.
Only.
I only ate a little.
Yeah.
What about Mayumi-chan?
Yeah. What about you? And じゃあ、私もちょっとだけ。じゃあ次に何かを食べましょう。
I also ate a little to eat. Ate a little. Yeah, let's have some. Let's have something on tsugi next to eat next.
Yeah, good, exactly. Annika, いいですね。お腹が空いてます。
Okay, I'm hungry.
Yeah, good. And Jonathan, 私もペコペコです。
Me too.
Me too. Yeah, this means that I could also eat a pigeon, right?
We could also perform the pigeon style of eating.
Cool. Any questions, guys? All good? Okay.
Just peckish also means hungry.
Yeah, in English.
It
Yeah,
does,
it just means a little,
Yeah.
a little.
Yeah.
Like I could eat
Just a
something now.
little. Okay.
Yeah.
So not quite the same, but
Yeah.
close.
Not like I could eat a whole buffalo. That
Yeah,
wouldn't
not like I
peckish.
could, just like I could eat a whole pigeon.
Yeah, maybe just a wing or a head. Martin?
The Sugini Nanika confused me a bit.
Right, okay. Let's do this. Let's move this over here for a second. So tsugini was just a preposition, is that right? Tsugini. So this is next. This just means next. So
Okay, right.
yeah, and then it's basically a comma, and then nanika. Have you done indefinite pronouns before?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Right. Okay. Let's quickly do those now because we've actually got plenty of time. Who, when, where, what, how. These are all interrogatives, of course. And so to make these, if we just quickly convert these into Japanese, I'm going to pick one of you. Aga's left already. David, can you quickly translate these? Who is?
Dare.
Dare. Where? Oh, when? Sorry.
Oh, itsu.
Good. Where is?
Doko.
And what is?
Naze.
That's where.
That's where. Okay. What is
Nani.
Nani. Exactly.
Nani?
And then how is?
Doshite.
Yeah, doshite. That'll do for now. Good. And then to turn these into what are called indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns. This just basically means who is someone, when is at some time, where is somewhere, what is something, and how is somehow, we just use these interrogatives and put ka on the end of them. So someone would be dareka, at some time would be itsuka, somewhere, dokoka, something, nanika, or, as you heard Jonathan say, nanka, is both the same, and somehow is doshiteka. This creates this indefinite pronoun.
Would doka also be?
So actually, dorka has got a different meaning. I thought we could use this as well, but it actually means, just a second, because I nearly put in a letter by mistake to my teacher once. Dorka is basically means please, some way or another.
Okay.
Yeah.
Close, but not quite.
Yeah, I mean, I think literally it does mean somehow, but it's used to appeal to somebody. Could you somehow find a way, one way or another, to do something? Yeah.
Yeah, I know the grammar rule from kadoka.
Yeah.
Like either this or that, but
yeah. But I think to say somehow we need to do this, somehow we need to start the car, then I think this would be maybe not doshiteka, but almost the same meaning. Doyatteka. I think you have to use this. Yeah. Actually, well, dorka probably would be usable, to be honest, because it was for some way or another. But I just remember thinking about using this at some point and then looking it up, and it said this is a plea. Yeah. Okay. Right. We got through everything so quickly, guys. Let's have an early evening, shall we? And drink some beer.
Can I have one more question?
Oh, of course, yeah, sure.
About the tsugini. I interpreted it as a reference to the next service station.
Right.
Is that the case here as well, or is this just as like, okay, next on the menu wheel, or next on as the next thing we'll just go eat?
I think really both. I mean, in the context of this conversation, they were going to say Sugi no service station deck or your katte arimasu yo. So here as well, this could well mean either at the next service station as well as drinking coffee, let's have something to eat, or at the next place we can eat something. Or the next thing we do will be to eat something. It really depends on the context. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. Any other questions or problems, guys? Okay.
Just kind of a vocabulary question. Naze and nande, do they mean the same thing? Or
nande.
Because David brought up naze a few minutes ago, and I was wondering because I heard the two.
So nazeka means for some reason. For some reason. Nandeka means much more like means a little bit more like somehow.
Okay.
Yeah. So nande does mean why, but it also means how, and where it's used will determine which of these it is.
Okay.
If you want to be for surely saying why and not getting confused with how, then naze only means why.
Okay.
Nande can mean both why or how, so it really depends on the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everybody else okay? Cool. I'm off to make pasta and listen to some God was an astronaut, was it? God is an astronaut?
Yes.
Yeah. So have a nice evening, everybody.
Take care,
See you soon.
Matane.
Cheers. お疲れ様でした。じゃあね。ありがとうございました。
またね。
またね。バイバイ。
バイバイ。